Hi, welcome to Scottie Crafts and Creating with Wendy. Today we're going to be having a play with some of the Heartfelt Creations stamps and the Spellbinders dies made to coordinate with these stamps. We're going to create a card using both the dies and the stamps. So this is the card here.
Oh, I'm just going to go close in on that. That is very beautiful.
So we're going to be using a few items. We're going to be using distress inks for our colouring and an ink applicator tool. Obviously we're going to be using the Heartfelt Creations stamps and dies. I'm going to be stamping in black Brilliance ink, and we're going to be using some Martha Stewart glitters to create the pretty corner that you saw on the card earlier. So the first thing that I want to show you how to do is to basically cut this little lace corner. Let's start with the easy thing. So we're going to use this little corner die. You're going to need an A and a C board in your Cuttlebug, a piece of jack paper, which is a double-sided adhesive. I've already pre-cut mine. So you send it through with a C, your die, a piece of jack paper on the top, and then a B board. You then stick it to your piece of card by removing the backing off the corner, sitting it onto just a pre-cut piece of white card and peeling away the other layer of protective sheeting. So it is a little tacky to apply. Once it's stuck down onto the corner of your card, the next thing is just to apply the Martha Stewart glitter over the top. So I always try to use a little spoon and do it over a catching tray. And that's the reason that I put it into this dish, because obviously the little jars are quite narrow. Flick off the excess, and there's your glitter corner already for the next step.
Wow, that's easy.
Okay, so the next is this little border here. Now this is done using the border die. I've already gone ahead and cut one row of it because I want to show you the die is shorter than the length that I need. So to do the next step, we just basically remove the die, poke out all the little bits that catch in it. I found sometimes if you give this a light tap on the table, these will actually fall away on their own. Send away the excess. The next thing is to line this up so that your holes meet and the next cut will go right to the end of your piece of card. So it's a little bit of a fiddle, but it's well worth the way that it looks once you get it lined up. So now I just send it back through my machine and cut the rest of this. So I put it an A board on the bottom, a C board, lay my die facing upwards, put my B board on the top and send it through the Cuttlebug. And then you'll end up with a strip that's the right length or longer, and you can trim it off. So then what I've done is gone ahead and put it into the Swiss Dots Cuttlebug folder and embossed it. And then just using the distress inks, I've coloured it with broken china and my applicator tool. So it's just a matter of working from your craft sheet and blending over until you've got the desired depth of colour. So I'd keep working that until I had it as intense as the one is on my card sample. So that's two of the dies that come in the set. The next die is the butterfly. Now we're going to stamp our image on a piece of white card using black Brilliance ink. I've already put my stamp onto a block. They self-cling onto a transparent block. So then you just proceed to ink your stamp. These images stamp beautifully. They're very, very clear detail. Stamp by pressing firmly down and lifting off. The next thing to do is to line it up. I've made a little template. So what I've done is cut one butterfly from a scrap piece of card, and then using, it's like a vellum tape, it's not a really tacky tape. Take a little bit more of the tack off by putting it onto your clothing, and I've just attached it so that it's still lined up in the hole where the butterfly was cut away from. And the reason we do this is so that now I can flip this edge up and line my butterfly up through the actual template, like so.
I'm going to go really close in on that so we can see what you're doing. There we go.
So now I know that when I flip this back down, it's going to hold in place so that I can send it through my Cuttlebug and cut it. So So once again I'm using an A board, a C board. I've set my die with my lined up piece onto the C board. I've put a B board on the top, and it's just a matter of rolling it through to cut it. So now my template's still here, my little butterfly. We'll want to stick a little in the die, but just give it a little helping hand out. Like so. And you'll notice once it's cut, the lines don't always line up exactly perfectly, but what you would normally do with this image anyway is come in and just ink around the edges a little. It gives it a little bit more dimension and actually makes the butterfly look like it was always one piece rather than cut from a piece of white cardstock. So you proceed to do this right round. I even like this little antennae with a bit of darker ink on them, and what happens is it phases out the little lines or puts more ink where it might need a little more. So you work your way right around the butterfly doing this, basically. Set that aside to dry. There's one that I've dried a little earlier, and to colour this butterfly, all that I've done is added some distress inks in Spun Sugar and Broken China are the two colours that I've chosen. Ink up your little tool and basically just blend from your craft sheet up onto the butterfly to colour it in. Now I've cut the flowers that are on my card in the same way. I've made up a little template and cut them through exactly the same way as I did the butterfly. So it might appear a little fiddly, but what you can do is actually leave it always set up like that, because most of the time if you use that die you'll be using it with those stamps. So then I've laid the two bits together and just put some little rhinestones, colour the bottom layer as well, put some little rhinestones, and then used a few dots of Kindy Glitz. I've stamped a message on my card and then added my flowers cut in the same way that I cut the butterfly, and also coloured in the same way. Really nice stamps to stamp with, love them. Love the dies, they're cut beautifully. So that's it for today.
I really like those stamps. They're a brand new innovation from Heartfelt Creations, and I love the way that they've combined them with Spellbinders dies. These are the Spellbinders dies that you can only get through Heartfelt Creations, and they are brand new in New Zealand, and you can get them from Scottie Crafts, either online or in store, online at www.scottiecrafts.co.nz. Enjoy shopping. Bye.
Bye.